Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Strong Perspective. My name is Keith Armstrong. I'm here with my brother Damon Armstrong and my other brother, Jaquari Armstrong. We welcome you to our podcast. Hey, listen, guys. How y'all doing, Damon? Jaquari?
Doing all right, man. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I can't complain. What about you, Jaquari?
I'm good, man. Everything is, where it's supposed to be. My body don't like too much,
Good to hear. Hey, listen. I thought about it, and what we're going to do is we're going to just talk about just a little bit on how we feel about doing this thing. And, you don't have to elaborate it on a gigantic scale, just talk about it. So I'll start first. I came up with this idea mostly for the camaraderie between you guys, man. When we grew up, we were always close with one another, and there's always been a great love amongst us. So we up here, we old heads now. So I think just to see each other and have the kind of conversations we always had, you know what I'm saying? I think folks will benefit from listening to us. Look, we ain't always right. I wish we could say we were some prophets, or at least I wish I could, because I want to feel important. But I think our insight on how we look at things kind of help people, ease on in their transition to older life. Damon, you got anything to contribute to this?
I think what's important for me, man, sometimes you feel like you're on an island by yourself. And I think every now and then it's good to be able to vibe with somebody who you can relate to and somebody that knows you, somebody that can actually put you in check. When they see you moving out of character and all that stuff, I'm saying people that take that personal is people that needs to do some real deep soul searching. I'm saying being on here with my two brothers, man, make me realize that, you know what? When I start moving off the rails or whatever, I got somebody that's going to lead me back on track. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And it gets me off that island, man. I can be myself and I can express my thoughts and my feelings because I got a lot to offer. You know what I'm saying? And both of y'all brothers, man, y'all make me feel like y'all respect what I say. Maybe, during the course of this podcast, other people can do the same, man.
Okay. Jaquari, what's your contribution to this?
I just, pretty much I follow the same sentiments that you guys have already expressed, but through this podcast and everything, man, I'm looking to put out ease of communication with me as far as not really concerning you guys, but people that I know, people that are in my life, whatever, but they don't necessarily know how to approach me or know how to talk to me or whatever, because they can't really tell when, for some particular reason, I'm serious or when I'm joking or whatever. For instance, I could be with a couple of guys or whatever, and you just, we drinking and sipping on something, and I just ask them why all y'all got watches with the, with like called the Mariner or the Seafarer or the Nautical or whatever. It can't none of you motherfuckers swim. You got a $500 watch on that's good up to 30 feet of water, right? But you don't even take a bath, brother.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And people don't understand that. It's funny. It's just comedy. I ain't picking at you. Yeah, I know what kind of watch you got, brother. I'm acknowledging it. And I'm not criticizing, I'm just fucking with you. Relax.
Right.
Learn how to relax.
I could do I could do that with y'all, and I know y'all not gonna take it personal.
I think a lot of times what we do, and it's through conditioning. To me, my personal opinion when it comes to conditioning is done purposefully, right? And then sometimes just by through myth and legends and stereotypes, being conditioned to think a certain way. Like me, as Black men, we always have to show strength. That's important to us. Respect, strength, you know what I mean? Being feared, for the simple fact that we've always been conditioned to think, and then this is my personal opinion about this, that we're not strong. We are fearful people. And we feel as though because of the conditioning, we're not respected. So a lot of times when we, and this is kind of tricky, but the way I see things, a lot of times when we clash with somebody else and say, man, that man disrespected me, you know, this, that, and the other. Then you say, well, how did he disrespect you? Oh, he stepped on my shoe. He looked at me the wrong way. You know, I tell brothers all the time, I say, bro, if that's what disrespect to you is, oh, he should apologize. Okay, he apologized, but then you still at his neck. I said, you need to read what the definition of disrespect is, and then read it again. Because you found yourself in a messed up position because life, and I think, I'll say that for later, but anybody else got anything to contribute to that?
I've had that conversation with men, you know, like, you know, oh man, you disrespectful. And I'm like, well, brother, is it really that easy to disrespect you? Are you that base? Are you that simplistic? Where something as simple as a man coming and coming and stepping on your shoes or cutting you in line or whatever will disrespect you to the point of you possibly warring with somebody? You know, I mean, that's another thing, man. People don't really, people demand the truth, but the truth is one of the most hated things on the face of the earth, man.
It is.
Isn't that what Boondocks were talking about when they was talking about nigga moments and shit, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where
hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna ride with you, but
I ain't gonna use the word.
Go ahead. We good. Go ahead.
You know,
it's a good point.
I was speaking in terms of, you know what I'm saying, the Boondocks and they were talking about it, whatever. What I'm saying is this: when you in a heated situation, man, with a cat, and y'all going back and forth with it, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like me or my two brothers get to the point where they're like, oh, this dude he's trying to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? He not proving the point. He not arguing the points that's being made. He want to prove himself because he feels like, I don't know, maybe feels inadequate in some ways. That's a personal problem. You know what I'm saying? The way we were raised, if you are being challenged on your merit, not on your merit, but if you're being challenged on what you say out of your mouth, the way we were raised, okay, you saying that with confidence, let me challenge you on this a little bit. That's not challenging your manhood. That's you bolstering the point that you made and having confidence in it. You know what I'm saying? And I think, right, and I think that's where people get lost in the stuff where they feel like they have to, you know, push back with, well, hey, bro, you coming at me like that? No, dude, I'm only questioning what you said. Now, if you're confident in what you said, you should be able to back that up 100%. You see what I'm saying? You should be able to do that.
That's the standard that men, especially black men, claim to live by, though. You know, I've gotten confrontations with people because I make eye contact with people when I speak. You really? If I don't look at you when I talk to you, then I really don't have the time of day to get you. But if I'm really
not right. I'm not interested in what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, but if I give you eye contact, that means that you know you got my attention.
And look, let me expand on what you just said. I look people in the eye the same way because, see, my thing is when I was told by my mom and my dad growing up in the South that you could easily get lynched by looking someone, a white person in the eyes when you speak, or they hand you some change, or they do this, they do that, right? And I'm like, well, I asked my dad, well, should I be afraid? Should I not do it? And my father, our father looked at me and said, listen, son, first and foremost, if you consider yourself a man, whatever definition you think is a man, and you feel you need to look somebody in the eye so they'll understand exactly what you mean, he said, by all means, son, look them in the eye. He said, I look men in the eye every day. And I look women in the eye so they can understand what I need them to do. Because if you guys understand what it means, if somebody's looking you straight in the eye and he's saying something to you, you understand exactly what he said to you. Whether it is to insult you or support you or whatever it is, he's looking you in the eye. But guess what? As human beings, if you with your woman and you're looking down and you ain't looking her in the eye and say, baby, I love you and I'll kill for you, your woman gonna look at you like, huh? Because she ain't gonna believe you. You wanna know why? Because you're not looking her in the eye. You know what I mean? Look, what they say, the eyes are the windows of the soul. I believe that. I really do.
I think, man, real talk is that when you dealing with people, right, and you feel that you can have a relationship with somebody, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be certain conversations where you're challenging somebody. You know what I'm saying? You're not challenging their manhood. What you're doing is saying, you know what? I respect this brother. Do we think like I do? Do we feel like I do? You understand what I'm saying? I don't know unless I challenge the conversation, not the man, but the conversation. We could be talking about, like what Brother Corey said earlier, swimming. I can't swim worth a damn lick. You know what I'm saying? But I can talk to you about not, you know what I'm saying, not being in that situation where I have to learn how to swim. You know what I'm saying? Now you say, hey man, what if you're on the bridge and your car run off the bridge and you're in the water and the water is coming up and all that stuff? What you gonna do? I'm in some big trouble, bro. So
I'm gonna scream till my throat hurt, but go ahead.
What I'm saying is, my manhood is not gonna come into place because I know that me swimming is an issue. It's a struggle. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say, well, if my car drives off the bridge and I'm in the water, I'm gonna man up. No, I'm not. You see what I'm saying? When the rescue team come and say, hey man, we done bust a woman out, just jump out the car and swim to the shore. I'll be like, no, dog, you got to come in and help me. You got to airlift for brother to the shore.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Do that make me less of a man?
Hell no.
No. Look, it makes you a man who can't swim.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not gonna argue what I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna argue I'm not gonna argue what I don't know, but I'm gonna argue what it is, and this is very important. I'm gonna argue what it is that I think I know. And when I say think I know, that leaves room for growth. Because somebody can prove me wrong, can't they?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what am I gonna do?
Who else do you know who might actively go out into the world each and every day looking to grow? Who else do you know?
Looking to grow?
Looking to grow. Looking to have their mind change on the slightest thing. Do you know anybody that is that open?
I could probably say that if you're looking at your computer screen, you're looking at 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? Because see, that is a good point, Corey, because first and foremost, what I learned when I was in my early 20s, I learned I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything about the world. And I knew a whole lot about the world.
Yeah.
But I didn't know a umpteen percentage of what I needed to know about the world. Once I understood that, I paid attention to everything that came across, no matter how small, no matter how large, I paid attention to it because I knew that I had to continue to grow. I had to continue to grow. Shit, to keep my sanity. Because,
Man, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
You know
but,
what? Oh. You
No,
know,
no,
you know what? You know why I learned early that it was important for me to grow is because everything that I'd been told, well, a lot of things I'd been told, you know, as far, you know, growing up as far as male standards and manhood and everything, man, you know, when I went into situations and I just tried to apply the end lesson to those situations, I always got shit on my hands, right? The end lesson is important, but the road is the ultimate, man. The journey there is the ultimate because the lessons within the journey, man, is a thing that help you understand the end goal.
and appreciate it too.
And appreciate it. Yeah.
Right. There's nothing like experience.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the reason why it's the reason why as a man, you the first one to walk into the house. There's a reason why as a man, you know, when you're walking down the street with your old lady, it's the reason why you walk on the traffic side of the street. It's reasons for that. They just those male canons just don't exist.
I would like to think, man, go ahead, Keith.
No, go ahead.
I would like to think, man, that because we have this mindset, because of our maturation process, man, I think that we have this mindset that, you know what I'm saying, there's a tendency through our lens to look at the world in a hopeless situation. You know what I'm saying? In a hopeless situation and say, damn, where are the motherfuckers just like me that think the way I do? You see what I'm saying? What changes that for me is that, like I said, through the maturation process, man, I had my mistakes too. But the difference between me and just a random motherfucker who just go through whatever and just be angry, the difference is I identify when I'm wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? And I process that because all three of us have families. You feel what I'm saying? All three of us have families. And if you are not able to process when you are wrong in pivotal situations, man, that affects your family. That affects your family. So isn't it incumbent upon us, all three of us, man, which I know we do already, but isn't incumbent upon whoever to take the time to process it, man? Even if you come to the same conclusion through that knee-jerk reaction, is it incumbent to at least go through the process, man? You see what I'm saying? If you still come to the conclusion that I don't give a shit, you see what I'm saying? Then you put thought into it. Huh? You put thought into it. Right. You put thought into it, and then you might come to the conclusion that you a fucking asshole, man.
That's another thing. That's another thing, not to cut you off. I realized that I didn't know, even though I was coming from a strong position of knowing things, right? Human nature, life, everything else, I didn't know shit. And also I knew that I could be an asshole. That's what I understood about myself. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's toward the world and toward my loved ones. When I get too caught up into my own personal things that didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? See, here's the thing. When I when I'm out in the world, I see the world to what it is. I try to be so optimistic toward the world, like human nature, there's good people out there, which it is, right? But the world is a separate entity from who we are. Because the world, because of what's being thought about us as human beings, the world becomes its own separate animal in which the energy coming from us, see, it's tricky to me. The energy coming from us affects how the world treats us. You know what I mean? And I mean that in the sense that, say you go to Detroit, and you remember us growing up, you couldn't look anybody in the face in Detroit, in the eyes, another brother in the eyes, without him, if he's a gangster, saying, yo, who the hell you think you looking at? What you gonna do? You see what I'm saying? See, that's the world speaking through his eyes because he feels he needs to be that way. You see what I mean? But me understanding that about the world, I still have to stand on my optimism. And I'm not being foolish when I stand on it because what it does, it takes away the anxiety. I know what street to stay away from. I know who, the body language of who's going to do what and this and that and who I'm hanging out with. Every friend I know who I'm hanging out with, I know them to a point where if they're putting me in danger, to walk away. I know that much about the world. You see what I'm saying? Because I took the time to figure it out.
Yeah.
But we don't all do that.
The worst thing you can ask a person known to be an asshole is do you look for opportunities to be an asshole or do you just wake up like that?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Have you?
Hell, that's the same, ain't it, Smoke?
In some people's cases, yeah. Like have you been called an asshole so many times that eventually you just decided to just take on that persona as your number one? There's somebody else in there, bro. There's somebody else in there, man. And the way you acting right now, the way you going right now, I don't, I can't, because you put me in jeopardy, man. I would not allow another man to put me in jeopardy that I can do myself. If I keep myself out of trouble, then I ain't no way in hell I'm gonna let you jam me up. It's not gonna happen.
Okay. I think, man, for me, what I think is that it's very difficult. Man, the only person that you could just piggyback in what you said, Keith, you talking about the world, man. The world is a commonplace, man, where everybody deal off emotions, man. You see what I'm saying? They're not dealing with that personal self. They're dealing off that initial reaction. You know what I'm saying? And that costs a lot of people their lives, man. You see what I'm saying? It costs a lot of people their lives, young and old. Emmett Till, what was Emmett Till, 13? You know what I'm saying? And he was just following, they pushed him too. You know what I'm saying? He was just trying to fit in. You feel what I'm saying? Cost lives. You know what I'm saying? But when you think about, okay, first of all, if you live long enough on this planet, you realize, man, we are all not the same fucking people, man. We're not. We have similar experiences, but we all take away from those similar experiences differently. That's what makes God unique. That's his biggest miracle. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't take the time to go through the process and figure out how it is that you feel towards a situation, you understand what I'm saying? Then that's very costly, man. Because like I think you said, Jacory, hey, I can come to the conclusion where I can take a step back and not cause confliction, not cause drama, not cause potential harm, and figure out how do I proceed forward, man, in terms of who I am as an individual. How do I proceed forward? Because guess what? All three of us have families, man. And we were responsible for that. My wife is not going to accept the fact that I'm a motherfucking man and I ain't finna be disrespected. And so I'm gonna go at a motherfucker, right? I'm gonna either wind up in jail or that motherfucker gonna take me out. What the fuck my family gonna do then? Yeah. So I have to think rationally. I have to think rationally, and I have to find that place where I'm comfortable with moving forward, man.
Well, let me bring this up real quick. A lot of times, you both know me, and people who know me know that I'm more of an individual than somebody that goes along with a group. That's not because I was born that way. I had to hit my head against the wall. And what I mean by that is I was like everyone else. I wanted to be a part of everything that the group was going to. I needed that. So it was in me. Like, yo, I want to be with the cool cats. Yo, I want to be with the, you know what I mean? I want to, I ain't had no rhythm, but I wanted to be the dancer. You know what I mean? I grew up around gangsters. So in my mind, I wanted to be a gangster. I wanted to be with everybody. Being along with the group is what I'm saying. But you want to know what changed me? When I wasn't accepted to none of those groups. Because I was the reserved kid, or I didn't do anything foolish. So I had to stand on my own island, alone, looking, sometimes lonely, sometimes grateful to be there, and looking, observing everyone else. How they were hitting their heads against the wall, or how they was having fun. So I had both extremes I was dealing with, right? But I was by myself. And I realized, damn, I love being by myself because my choices are really my own choices. So if I decide to go with this group here, there was a lot of thought that went into growing with them. You see what I'm saying? If I decided not to go, there was a lot of thought. Because it's like sometimes we need to understand that our solitude is our greatest gift, especially if we're thinkers. Yeah. Especially if we see life in a certain way. You know what I mean, Jaquan?
Hey, y'all excuse me for a minute, man. My damn door falling off. What the fuck is going on, man?
Yeah, you need to go take care of that, brother. And man, it's the funniest thing that you should mention, like solitude and enjoying your solitude, man. It brings me back to a conversation I had with a lady that I work with. And I can't remember exactly what the topic was, but she told me from a female perspective that I enjoy my solitude entirely too much to be married. And all the time, I was thinking that me enjoying my solitude is probably one of the main reasons I'm still married.
It's the truth, though. But see, yeah. She don't understand that because she's a woman. And I'm not trying to be sexist. It's just a simple fact. I cannot tell you what a woman thinks.
Yeah, I mean, it baffles me.
Does she know? Does she know you on that personal level like that?
Well, yeah, I've known her for a long time. Yeah, known her for a long time. And as a matter of fact, it was probably 2-3 years into me knowing her that she felt comfortable enough to say that to me.
Okay.
So she knows she knows who I am. She's got a good idea of what I've been through. Especially since I've been in Virginia. And she didn't really give me as concrete of a response as I would have liked, but she couldn't really clarify that statement for me either. Every man enjoys his solitude.
Gotcha.
Right. Every
Doesn't
female does too.
I was going to say, doesn't every woman?
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you the crazy thing is this though, is what I like about what we're gonna be doing on this podcast is we covered a lot of subjects. You know what I mean? If you're the type of person who want to feel like, well, damn, you gotta stay on topic and stay this, stay that. What we're doing is we're touching subjects on how we feel about it and we're moving on. You know what I mean? So just to piggyback on what you just said with your coworker, I was talking to a coworker, and I was talking about how I react to things, right? And they told me, he said, listen, Chief, you can be sensitive. And you know, my first reaction to it, like, the fuck do you mean sensitive, right? But I took the time to listen to them. And then they described to me, their version of sensitive is speaking my mind, right? So I had to tell them, I said, listen, first and foremost, sensitive is feeling some kind of way and cussing you the fuck out.
That's what I always thought.
But I'm speaking my mind to you. When I say to you, I address something and I'm addressing it in a way to be cleared up. Because see, me personally, I want you to always not be confused about what's coming from me, my energy, my vibe, or anything that I say, right? So say if I said something about the clothes that I have on. What do you mean? How they fit? What's going on? You know what I mean? It's through elaboration. It's not sensitivity. It's just further you. Just tell me what you're talking about. And then a lot of times when people think you're feeling sensitive about it, they say it to hurt you anyway, in my opinion. Because if they cannot tell you why they said it, they have malice in the statement. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how simply I put it. Like, listen, you might be doing me a favor because I'm paying attention to what you're saying to me. When I come back and ask the question, don't automatically think because I asked the question, I'm being sensitive. You don't have that kind of power over me. You know what I'm saying? And if you did, you caught me on a bad day and you're getting cursed out. But have I ever cursed you out? You know, they said no. I said, well, then I'm telling you on good authority, you didn't say anything to bring out any kind of sensitivity in me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, am I an alpha male? I'm a macho male and all this shit. I'm me. And every day I'm getting more comfortable in being me. So if I want to, if I want to feel sorry for someone, if I want to sympathize, if I want to be this kind of person, when somebody else, the other folks is not, then I'm comfortable with that.
But can I say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Finish up. Can I say something? That statement, alpha male, right? When people drop that line, is that them saying, hey, man, I can be a fucked up individual towards you because I'm just strong or whatever. They misinterpret what's being strong in terms of being a fucking jackass. Am I making sense?
Yep, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? So they throw that throw that statement out. But if you look in the animal kingdom, right? Even the alpha males get played by the motherfucker in terms of lions and shit, right? Even the alpha lion male get played by a couple of the females in the fucking pack. Not played, but the female get their needs met also. Do that make you a weak motherfucker?
No. And you know what? I don't
It
look for
doesn't.
weakness though. I don't look for
You know
weakness.
what?
And you know what's so crazy about it is how people use alpha and beta as a insult these days.
Right, right. It's something that you said to me, man, years and years ago, Keith. You said, hey, man, why is it that a female can sit back and look at a brother and find strength in them, right? The quote unquote alpha motherfucking male, find strength in them. Oh, that's the baddest motherfucker in the fucking pack, right? And once she gets his attention and be with the motherfucker, what's the first thing she do? She find a weakness in that motherfucker and exploit it. Why is that? When your first initial act is to find the strongest motherfucker in the pack, and once you get that motherfucker on your side, you find the weakness in them to exploit.
But you know what? I think it's out of, and this is my own personal opinion, I think it's partly to control that angry side, and also because they do fear that angry side. So what they do, they try to minimize you. You know what I mean? Why women call big guys like us teddy bears. They say that because out of fear, in my opinion. Not fear like, ooh, no, because you are an imposing individual, and for them to mentally deal with you, they have to see a softer side in you.
Right. But I say that to say this, man. First of all, it's based on judgment, man. It's all based on judgment, man. If you looking for somebody who you feel, and this is just anybody, man. If you're looking for somebody who you feel that's going to be that stalwart person, that's going to be there, that's going to stand their ground, and it's going to be that strong person in your life. You understand what I'm saying? And then you follow up with that shit with trying to find a weakness in that person to have some type of control. That is not cool. That is not cool. And what that says is that this speaks more to your character than the weakness that you seek to try to find in a person. That speaks to your shit, what you're dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? If you come to the conclusion that, hey, you know, this person is strong enough, man, to help me move forward. Moving forward is not finding a weakness, man.
Gotcha.
Weakness doesn't
Moving
benefit.
forward.
Weakness does not benefit. Weakness doesn't benefit the community as a whole. I think, like, for people to start, you know, using alpha and beta to describe manhood is just totally wrong, because they don't understand.
I agree.
From a nature point of view, what the hell alpha actually means. Alphas aren't assholes. If you take a wolf pack, for instance, the alpha wolf is not an asshole. He happens to be the strongest around at the moment. Okay, but what are his motivations? His motivations are driven by the comfort of the community. A good alpha will stand up, you know, strong at all times, but he'll also make sure that his peers are standing up to support him. That's what an alpha does. You know, an alpha does not, you know, it's not, you know, it's not who got the biggest nuts contest. It's how we gonna eat. It's how we gonna take care of these cubs.
Yeah.
Those are the things, you know, that a good alpha can help to shore up.
Make sure the community benefits, man, exactly, from his strength.
I mean, I think that a lot of times what we do is we only take that partial thing because, you know, to me, just being comfortable with yourself is enough. It's not the way the rest of the community view you. Now, if you own some selfish stuff, right, now I have a problem with that. You know what I mean? But if you live in your life and you going through your life, you know, the computer, especially if sometimes what we do, and I'm so exhausted from it, is we in our community, the Black community, we pick and we dissect some of the dumbest stuff, man. So we all can feel comfortable with being around each other. You see what I'm saying? I'll give you an example of that. In the barbershop, right? You know, in a good barbershop, you have a wide variety of men coming in it, men and women coming in this barbershop. Different personalities, different beliefs, different everything, right? But the common goal is everyone to be sitting in there, everybody in there sitting comfortable until they get their haircut or their shave. So what do? We allow each other to have our say, right? But the thing about it is our conditioning, the way we condition to think about poor people, the way we condition to think about rich people, rich, poor, all Black people, the way we think is steered a certain way by that world animal, that world, because of the energy that everybody puts into it. To really hammer down that, because I'm trying not to go into one direction, because I don't believe it's one solid thing. But when somebody has money, right, and you're Black, the community expects you to basically give your money away. You know what I mean? Because you're successful, right? But then you think, on the other hand, that the community always wants your money because you're successful. There's no in between. It's either you need to give us or y'all want my shit. None of this is in here. You understand? And the people who are in here like, yo, I got you. This is what we can do. We can make this bread together. Nobody listens to. Because here and here is the only thing that's ever been looked at. Think about it. Now, are we being conditioned to be that way? Because see, I don't believe in conspiracies. I believe that people believe the easiest road. If you below the poverty line and you think and you feel in yourself that you'll never make it out of that poverty line, that's all you're gonna ever think. If you make it out of the poverty line, the fear of going back makes you ignore who's back there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that bothers me, the simple fact that I'm not a fool, but I will give to help somebody else. But
let me say
look
that
at me as a fool, though. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Not if they being honest with themselves, man.
But they do. Are we rarely honest with ourselves, man? Because look.
Yeah, and I can see how you can come to that conclusion, man.
All right, perfect example. The platform we're on right now, right? You guys know why I want to do it, right? And I pretty much know why you want to do it. But collectively on the outside, people want to think, well, damn, they want to get on. Oh, damn, they catching the wave. Oh, damn, they're doing this, they're doing that. You see what I'm saying? Which it don't matter, but my point is, it's not being looked at in a logical sense. Because we have so many things that we got to sift out of the way before we can see where we're going.
But see, a lot of stuff is cut and dry too, man. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. We're talking about this alpha shit. See, the weakest motherfucker can think that they are alpha because they got money to throw around. But here's the truth, man. This is a real story, man. It was this one cat, man. His name escapes me, man. But he was dealing with this broad. They had a baby, right? He out there hustling. The world know he a hustling motherfucker, slanging dope, all that bullshit, right? He out there doing that, right? So we up in motherfucking what's the club where all the family go to when they in town?
The Elks.
The Elks. Now he up in this motherfucker buying all the men that he respect drinks and all that bullshit, right? And his baby mama's daddy walked up in the motherfucker, and everybody see the dig. They was like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, he quiet because he watching this nigga, right? And my man started buying drinks for everybody and all this bullshit, right? So my man walk up to all of us and he say, my man was like, "Hey man, yo," when he saw, he said, "Hey man, you want a drink, man? I'll buy you a drink." Whatever. He's like, "No, don't buy me a drink, nigga. Buy some diapers, motherfucker. Because your baby is wearing the diapers I bought while you in here buying drinks."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And my man like, "Man, look here, man. We ain't got to do that shit here. All this and yada yada." You know? And the older cats sitting back talking about, "Nigga, you in here buying motherfuckers drinks and the baby's grandfather is buying diapers? What is it that you're trying to prove?" He's trying to prove an image that the streets have of him. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to prove an image that the street has. Hey, look, I can go up in here and the motherfuckers I can respect, that I respect, I'll buy them drinks and all this shit. But the grandfather buying the diapers. And Cass was arguing back and forth, talking about, "Man, you ain't had to do a young brother like that." Yes, he did. He had to do young brother like that.
Yeah, but he should have did it in the cart somewhere, man. Because all that did was put him in resistance on doing something he wasn't doing in the first fucking place.
Well, and you could argue that, man, and it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about respect, right?
Yeah.
Isn't what it boiled down to, respect? But damn, dude, how do you respect a motherfucker who coming to the bar and buying all the brothers' drinks, trying to put forth image, and then somebody come in and say, "Dude, why you got money for this, but you ain't got money for diapers?" Help me reconcile that. Yeah. At some point in time, you talk about black people. And I'm talking about in the broader sense. I'm not just talking about diapers. I'm talking about in the broader sense. At some point in time, motherfuckers have to take responsibility for that shit, man. What is it, man, that you trying to prove? Oh, dude, you got money in your pocket, but the money that you got is ill-gotten gain.
Gotcha.
That's what it is.
I got you.
Dude, you get money and you buying drinks and you flashing, but you hurting motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
And the motherfuckers that you hurting is the motherfuckers that, look here, dope selling itself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And that's the thing that kills me. Motherfuckers think that, hey, I sold the most dope in the motherfucking hood. No, you didn't. Dope sold the most dope in the hood. Nigga, not you.
You are not a hustler.
You understand what I'm saying?
I tell you what. We're coming to a close, right, real soon. So this.
I ain't gonna get on my soapbox, dog, but
no. I got
a little emotional.
No, you're good because you inspired me for this one last question, and really it's just a simple question, right? Your question is, what do you think is the most detrimental to our community? You need me to elaborate a little bit on that?
No, I got my answer, but I'll let Spoke go first.
Yeah, give me a little bit more.
Okay, what I mean by this, problems in our community is layered, okay? So it's not one thing. You know what I'm saying? But what's the one thing that you identify that really and truly bothers you, you feel we can change?
Well,
You get me now?
yeah. I think like throughout the whole African-American diaspora, the thing that we really, really need to try to get a hold of is essential tribalism, man. I mean, you know, at one point, you know, back in Africa, hell, back in America, back, you know, when we were in bondage or whatever, back during those days, and we did have, you know, connections, you know, tighter connections, you know, to the homeland, you know, to those tribes and individuals that we knew. I think it was important then, but nowadays, you know, tribalism has led to, you know, atrocities done to us by us. You know, you take Chicago, South Central, Detroit, you know, everywhere that there's a place that you could call the hole, you know, like where we grew up in projects, it was the hole. You know, those conditions were atrocious. You know, and in some instances, we were doing that to ourselves. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Damon?
Here's the point I'm making, man. When you think about, you know, what was the question that you asked, Keith? Repeat that for me.
What do you think is, what do you think is a detriment to our community that you feel can change?
Exactly. Here is the detriment, man. The detriment is that we don't give a shit about our experience, man. Good or bad. I'm talking about people individually. We don't give a shit about that. All we give a shit about is money. When I say we, I don't mean everybody. I'm saying the thing that matters to most people. It's all about money. You get it however you can. That's what's most detriment to our fucking community. When you make money your God, that's the most detriment. And to bolster my argument in terms of that being a fucked up mentality is this. When we first got out of fucking slavery, right? Just to put shit in context and think about this. When we first got out of slavery, right? What happened? There were all these millions of motherfucking people free at one time, right? And during slavery, let me preface this with this shit. During slavery, what were they doing? They were breeding people, right? To make babies, right? When they abolished slavery and all these people was free, how many babies were there that didn't have fathers or mothers? It's a good number of those babies who didn't have fathers or mothers. But coming out of slavery, what did we as Black people do? We took on babies that wasn't ours and we raised them. And we kept our people moving forward. That's what we did. And we didn't have shit. There were Black women raising babies who they didn't know who the parents were, but they were still raising them. That is factual, right? And we survived up to this point, didn't we? We survived up to this point. Now, when you think about modern times, what is a motherfucker? Think about the contrast, man. What's the differences? There were babies who didn't have parents, but people took on the responsibility of being parents and raising those babies in terms of us as a people survive. Up to the point where we at right now where, hey, look, nigga, I'm gonna survive the best way I can. If this baby mama owned dope and I can sell her dope to make sure my family eat, I'm gonna do that. Are y'all following me? That's why we in the position that we in now, because we made money our God. not our, you know what I'm saying? We disregarded our humanity. Out of slavery, women that were beat, tortured, and raped took on babies that wasn't theirs. Up to the point where we at right now, where Bob, you know what I'm saying? If I could slang this dope, or I could pimp this female, our women went from being raped and owned to being pimped. You tell me, in what world did that make sense, man?
The same world that you can go on Maury and celebrate the fact that you're not the baby daddy.
That's my only point, man. So when I think about it in its totality, I'm talking about in the situation that we're living with, because we're dealing with shit, man, that's not consequential, man, in terms of Black people. We're dealing with Trump bullshit. We're dealing with a fucking crazy person.
All right. Come on, close it up, man. Then
that has nothing to do with, man, our survival. Nothing to do with it. We deal with stuff that has reality TV. That has nothing to do with our survival, man. What's going to help us move forward in life. You know what I'm saying? And then we look, those are the things that frustrate me, because I don't understand. How can you? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone, man. Do you know, man, that Black people in this country is more prosperous 40 years out of slavery than they've ever been in the history of being in this country?
That's true. That's true.
40 years out of slavery, we was our most prosperous.
A lot of that because we were left alone to our own devices. We built, we did things, and we had our own businesses. Yes, but look, let me contribute. My thing is, I think it's a compounded thing, right? Was detrimental to, I think, answer my question is what? Let me just do it like this. Cooperation amongst us in our community is very low. It's very low. Cooperation and trust. Mostly because we believe the narrative that's been pumped on to us since we was babies. What we saw in the movies, what we saw on television, what we read in papers, the whole nine. To be magnified. And what being said every day, even if you know the truth about something, think about it. If it continues to be repeated to you over and over and over and over and over again, even if you still believe the truth, your body language is going to start believing the lie, right? So that's the conditioning part, to me. Is how I feel. Mm-hmm. Now, the trust goes along with the conditioning. When somebody tells you, hey, don't go in that neighborhood, because them Black people, this and that, and da-da-da, right? It's crime-ridden, right? But honestly, it's one street, one corner in that neighborhood. Everybody else is getting up, going to work every day, or every night, or being homemakers. But it's that one corner, that one street, right? But guess what? We're being defined by that one corner, that one street, all across America.
That's true.
And what do we do as a community? Instead of, hey, let's fight against this, right? Verbally fight. Recondition ourselves to understand what the truth is. What do? We start to become more and more convinced that the lie is the truth. Now, I said that, just to help Jaquaria, I said it's very layered, many layers to this, to a solution for us. But the cornerstone of that solution would honestly be, to me, trust. And when I say trust, meaning just because I don't like you, don't mean I hate you. So if I can get to that point, now I'm going to listen to you. And it won't be the sense that, oh, you won't have my ear because I don't like the way you dress. I don't like the way you do this. From the conditioning, and then the trust gets in the way of it all, man. Because look, I don't want to make this is about a community, so it's not a white-black thing, right? But how many times have you seen in the past a brother would come with a $1 million idea that's not even going to take you through any kind of changes, right? But all you have to do is ride with him, right? Then a white man will come in with the same $1 million idea and charge you more, but you'll go with him. Is it because he's white, or is it because you can't trust him? You don't want to trust the brother, because you know there is a difference, right?
Well, I ain't gonna say that's the obvious answer to that, man. But
No, it's not obvious, man. See, it needed to be said for this reason, Damon. People sit around and ask why all the time, and the why is standing right there in your face.
Well, you said conditioning, right?
But that's why I said it needed to be said. That's why I took a little more time than usual. But be looking for the strong perspective, folks, because we got a lot to give you. And before you know it, we're going to be on the same accord, and we're going to be enjoying, look, you enjoy us and we'll enjoy you. All right? Damon, Jaquari, it's been great. In doing this podcast, and this is real quick, in doing this podcast, I worried about stumbling over my words. I worried about mispronunciation. I worried about, staying on topic. I worried about all these different things, right? Then I had to stop myself and say, you know what? If I'm comfortable and my two co-hosts are comfortable with what we're talking about, we can only get better. So I had to erase that from my mind and just we needed to pull this trigger and put our stuff out here.
Well, hey,
I stumble on my words. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
If I tell my wife, is you ain't my baby, she know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Hey, look, I know we're going to do a lot of these, needs, those, and thems.
Fuck Phonic. We talk about some good shit tonight, man. Straight up.
Yes, sir. Hey, look, this is the strong perspective, people. This is our podcast. And when you start looking at it, I want y'all to like and share us. All right. Peace.